Okay, we are in section 8.8. This is our last section of this chapter, and it's called Special Products, and we're going to learn 3 different special products. So the first one is called square of a sum, and what that means is we're going to start with a binomial in parentheses, and we're going to square it. And when you do that, what this means, anything squared means a plus b times a plus b. So you're going to have to write it out twice, like I just did, and then you're going to have to FOIL it. When you FOIL, you're going to go a squared plus ab plus b times a, which is the same as a times b, plus b squared. We look into the middle, and we have like terms, 1ab plus 1ab. That will equal a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. And this one is done. However, there is a special pattern here that you may see or you may not see. I'm going to do one more, then I'll show you the pattern. So we're going to do x plus 7 squared. And first I'll write it out the way I just did. It means x plus 7 times x plus 7. We're going to FOIL and get x squared plus 7x, then plus 7x, then plus 49. And the pattern that you might be starting to see is that these middle two terms are the same. So you're going to, there's 2 of them, so you're going to add them together and get 14x plus 49. But the shortcut, which you don't have to use right now, but you can use, is that you are squaring the first term, you're squaring the last term, 7 times 7 is 49, and in the middle, you're multiplying 2 times the first term times the last term. So 2 times x times 7, and it's plus 49 at the end. And so that gives you x squared plus 14x plus 49. Now you don't have to use this shortcut right now. It's going to come up in chapter 9 and we're going to be using it then. But it's good to start to see the pattern right now, that when we did a plus b squared, we squared the first term, we squared the second term, and that's plus, and then it was 2 times the first times the second. So one thing I want to show you, the common mistake with this problem is that people tend to just go a squared plus b squared and say that's the answer. And no, that's definitely not the answer, not correct, because there's more than one term in here. If it was just a times b, a monomial inside the parentheses, then yes, we would go a squared, b squared. But when there are more than one term in there, a plus b squared, you've got to write it out and you have to FOIL it. And that's always going to be true. So we will do a couple more of those. Let's try to do 4y plus 5 quantity squared. So first I'm going to do it the long way by writing it out twice, which you can always do. It's perfectly fine at this point to do this. Then that would give us, I'm going to start FOILing, 4y times 4y is 16y squared. 4y times 5 is plus 20y. 4y times 5 again is plus 20y. And 5 times 5 is 25. I have to combine the middle two terms, so I have 16y squared plus 40y plus 25. Here's the shortcut. You will square the first term, so that 4y gets squared. You'll square the last term, so 5 is going to get squared. Then you will always multiply 2 times the first term times the last term, and that will give you the middle term. So that's 16y squared plus 2 times 4 is 8 times 5 is 40y plus 25. Now, a very similar rule is the second special product, which is the sum of a difference. And this time, I'm going to have a minus b instead of a plus b. So again, I could always write it out twice and put a minus b times a minus b, and then FOIL. A times a is a squared. A times negative b is negative ab. A times negative b times a is the same as negative a times b. And then negative b times negative b is positive b squared. So this time in the middle I have negative ab minus ab, so that gives me negative 2ab plus b squared. So the only difference is that I have a negative sign here before they were all positive. Doing it with the shortcut, you would square the first term, square the last term, and it always ends in plus, and then would be minus 2 times a times b. So if I was doing 6p minus 1 squared, I'll do it with the shortcut first. That's 6p squared for the first term. The last one is negative 1 squared, so it's going to come out positive. And in the middle, we would have minus 2 times 6p times 1. So that would give us 36p squared minus 12p, and then plus 1. And of course, you need to do it that way. You could do the same problem by writing it out twice. 6p minus 1 times 6p minus 1. I'm foiling this. 6p times 6p, 36p squared. 6p times negative 1, negative 6p. Negative 1 times 6p, negative 6p. Negative 1 times a negative 1, positive 1. Gives me 36p squared minus 12p plus 1.